My name is Malcolm Kellermuller, and today, with my experiences and my drama through life thus far, I want to help you realize why you should take a step back. Before I get into that, and before we even really discuss that topic, I want to use this time, based on my little journal here, to tell you what I'm grateful for. Because I think it's a great reminder that we need to remind ourselves what we are grateful for, because so much happens in our life that we just don't have that time sometimes to even acknowledge what's going on. So with that being said, I'm going to read you 5 things out of my little journal before we hop into this video. The first thing being in this area and not having to worry about my safety, not having to care what time of day it is. I'm just eternally grateful that I can come out here and do this. The electronics I own, from my Apple Watch to this new mic, to my camera, my phone, I'm just eternally grateful to even have this equipment that many people can't even say they have. To choose when and what I can do. So many people roam this earth with little to no choice. And I'm here with the privilege to choose whatever and whatever I would like to do. That is, I mean, what else can you say? That is just insanely lucky. My support system. I'm eternally grateful for those individuals who have shaped me and my character and allowed me to be here and to do this. I'm just eternally grateful for them. Finally, my dogs. I got 2 older dogs. One's 14 and one's 12. You know, they're getting towards that age where you really start to notice them slowing down. So I'm extremely grateful for them. And man, those are my childhood dogs. So I just love them dearly. Now, why you need to take a step back. I'm going to use my experiences thus far to kind of drive home the idea quickly. For the past 10 years of my life, I've been so hyper fixated on a goal of being a professional athlete, specifically in the soccer world or the football world, whatever you like to call it. And through that time, I've had people, I've had myself lay out this pathway to how I potentially could do that. And as you can imagine, when you're younger, you have all these crazy dreams. But when I was younger, I was so hyper fixated on it that I would do anything and everything to get into that position. More specifically, to play in Europe professionally. So as I grew up from a high schooler to where I'm currently at, almost 24 years of age, I have gone through the worst experiences and the absolute best experiences. But that is just part of the story. There was so much time that has passed by between my loved ones, between my dogs that I just talked about, to the people I really care for, experiences outside of that. And as anybody will tell you that is successful, you have to make these sacrifices in life. However, there comes a time when my perspectives and my feelings shift. So looking back on it, there is many years of my life where I've missed so much. And those things I will never get back. But on the opposite side of that is experiences that I will never ever be able to have again, that I'm eternally grateful for. I know I've said eternally like a million times. Give me a break. But for the first time ever, right? I was a high schooler, did the high school thing, did my first professional trial in California in 2021. And then finally after that, just a year after that, I did my first professional trial out in Europe, in Spain, specifically Madrid. And then since then, every year I've gone back to Europe to compete. And this is the first summer I have decided to stay back home. Again, many reasons that lead into that. But it's the first time I've been able to step back and look at my career thus far. And there was so much that I just haven't been able to acknowledge and appreciate. I think when you're so wound up in the experience, the determination of getting to that goal, and whatever steps you have to take to get there, you obviously miss out on so many things. So for the first time, I'm able to step back and be like, okay, well, what's going on? I can finally survey the landscape. I can finally see what I've been missing. I can finally appreciate the experiences that I've had in Spain. Because no matter how hard you try, you just can't do it in the moment. And I've come to believe that cherishing the moment is actually just living in the moment to the entirety of that you can't even really acknowledge that you're in the moment. And that's cherishing the moment. You don't have an idea. You can maybe tell yourself in that moment, oh, this is just a great time. I'm really loving it. But it happens just like that and it's gone. then it's the time you get when you sit back and you look and you say, wow, I did those things. Wow, I have this core memory. That's the art of cherishing it. But you don't get that when you're so wound up in the experience. You don't get to sit back and take a bird's eye view or even a landscape view of, well, I did this. I'm doing this. I'm so grateful for that experience. And again, people, you can write down, like I said, you can write down in your journal about being grateful for things. But finally stepping back from the situation is where you actually see the love for the experience and the people and everything all in between the lines. And I say that too because I've had this realization probably my second year out in Europe. I was missing my family because I was gone for about 10 to 11 months every year. I'm missing my family, I'm missing my dogs, I'm missing my friends, I'm missing, you get that homesickness, so to speak. But it was only then I could really appreciate those things. It was only then the things that bothered me when I was with my parents or bothered me when I was with my friends or bothered me about my hometown was able to sit back and really appreciate it. And so now on the opposite end of that, I'm here back home and I can finally appreciate the journey that I took in Europe. The thought process that went into my mind while I was so hyper fixated was goal, 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 goal. How can I do it? How can I do it? You're gonna do it, you're gonna do it. And everything passed by. Now I wanna connect this to you because this isn't about me. This is about you and this is about, well, more so us and us learning about ourselves. You may have a goal that you are trying to achieve in this current moment. You may have dreams and aspirations, whether they're financially backed, whether they're family oriented, whatever it may be. You hopefully have some sort of dream or some sort of goal. And for my people who have been so goal driven that you can't acknowledge what's going on around you, that's when you really just not even physically take a step back, right? Not even just physically take a step back. You need to get out of the environment that you're working so hard in and get to a place where you can acknowledge that work you've been putting in. And that also allows you to see the people around you, your support system, your friends, your family, your other activities that you enjoy doing. It allows you to see those things in a different light. Now, on the opposite side of that are people who may not have goals and or are not driven in this current moment, for whatever your reason may be. You are still going through the same thing. Now you are so kind of wound up in your own thoughts because maybe you feel you're behind in life. Maybe you are like, wow, I am just a failure. I don't have a goal. I'm so confused. But you are in that point of view where you can't appreciate the things around you as well because you're so stuck up in here. And so maybe that means you get out and you do something, right? But it's allowing you to physically step out of where you previously were or even physically take a step back so you can see where you were and appreciate the things around you, the things you've missed, and the things you were doing. Now, I'm not by any means an older gentleman that has had years and years and years of experience, but I want to share some solutions, besides the obvious ones, like I said, taking a step back, that helped me and I think can help you. Number one is genuinely getting out of your environment. Whether you are in your hometown still, whether you're at the same job, whether you're at the same school, whatever your circumstances are, you need change. And it doesn't have to be something crazy. It doesn't have to be like what I did. It doesn't mean you have to go across overseas or blah, 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 go across the country. It means getting out of your area. And that will help you acknowledge what's going on. And that's the biggest thing. Being aware, being thoughtful, recognizing what you had and what you currently have. Two, you may be wound up in whatever you're doing, but you need other outlets. Now, I'm a big preacher of this. A lot of people will tell you, because we have like a grind culture in the United States. It's go, 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 go. Do it, do it, do it, do it, do it, do it. Which is good to a certain extent, but there's also just so much more to life. And it's not to say that you can't have both things. I've heard people talk about the work-life balance and how that's kind of, you can't do that. If you really want to be successful, you have to do work, 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 or blah, blah, blah. It's just draining to hear that side because it is doable. Maybe it is. You just got to say, okay, maybe it's 90% I'm really goal-driven and 10% I'm spending with my family. Or maybe it's 80-20, 70-30, 50-50, I don't know. But you're gonna have your own experience. And when you're so wound up on that, I promise you it's not as rewarding as you think. By no means, when you finally reach that goal and you're like, oh my God, I did it, I did all that hard work, like that's great. But then when you realize everything that you could have done on the side, you're gonna start to regret. My third and final solution, that's not necessarily direct to what I've been previously talking about, because I think removing yourself into a different position to look in on what you previously have done and what you have around you is by far the biggest and most important one. But the third one is allowing yourself to live in those moments. You know, I think for me at least, and a lot of people that I've met, we have been trying to force that cherishing of moments so much when the moment is occurring that you just completely, the moment gets swept underneath you. And moments are moments for a reason. It's not a lifelong thing. It's not something that lasts forever. It's a moment. So let the moment be a moment. Live in those moments. Trying to focus on everything happening in that one specific time frame will take you away from what is. So whether you're with your friends, whether you're with your family, whether you're doing something you absolutely love, absolutely hate, any sort of situation, it is just a moment. And live in that moment, be in that moment. That moment will cherish itself in its own way. And when you can look back on that memory because you've taken yourself out, then you'll be like, you know what? I did do that. That's it for me today. This is my first time doing a video like this. It's probably fairly rough. I had my thoughts written out. My mind itself goes all over the place when I speak. So this is helpful in the sense for me. But I really hope this was helpful for you. I know this journey of life is not easy, and it doesn't get easier as you get older. It only gets harder. This is something that I completely am still not entirely 100% perfect about. You know, this is, like I said, this is my first time in life I've been able to really look in on my experience in Europe. So I'm by far not the most experienced person. I'm just here learning just as much as you are. So as long as I'm giving you this advice because this is my experience, but I'm also holding your hand in this because I too am going through the same thing. And so whatever you are going through, I promise someone else is also going through it. And I just want you to know that I'm also struggling. We all struggle. And we're all trying to make it work. But with that being said, be the change you want to see in the world. And man, I'm just so grateful for this opportunity. Be an amazing human. Thank you. Bye.